Who ruined your family Christmas this year, and what did they do? I found out my wife was cheating on me at 11:30 p.m. Christmas Eve while we were at her parents' house. I packed up my stuff, walked right by her family, who didn't know what was going on, and drove 6 hours in a crazy rainstorm to my parents' house. So there's that. I wish I had your strength. When I first found out about my now ex-wife's affair with my best friend of over 30 years, we were all at my house together with a couple of other friends. I saw a notification pop up on her phone, a text message from him that just said not a day goes by that I don't wish I had pulled him aside and told him to get out of my house and bring my wife with him. I haven't spoken to either of them in a couple of years, and I still regret not giving myself that little victory. My mother got belligerently drunk, locked herself in the closet, and claimed she was going to end her life. Then she vomited, and my dad and I were trying to drag her into her bed. She then proceeded to get violent with me and kicked me in the face. My mom decided that is better for her and me, that she is going to spend these holidays with her much younger boyfriend, 15 to 17 year difference, in another city while her second husband, my stepdad, is in a different country trying to work for us, so he can help us with money and shit. So here I am, barely 18. Spending my first Christmas and New Year's Eve alone. My wife decided to stay on the phone with one of her exes from her distant past, rather than sit down with me and my sons to eat the Christmas Eve dinner I spent 3 hours making, while it was still hot. I was planning to go spend Christmas with my mom and dad this year after my 9-year engagement broke off just before Christmas. I just moved out, so I'm alone for the first time in 9 years. Then my dog got a stomach bug. He woke me up 3 times at night to go outside for a poo. He usually sleeps through the night no problem, and I discovered a pile of puke on his dog bed. It's not his fault, but I don't know if I can go anywhere today. My cousin, who bought Chick-fil-A so he wouldn't have to eat our homemade meals, announced upon arriving he wasn't helping with anything. Tried to trip acid all day on Christmas Eve, got drunk before noon by himself on that same day when I told him no Christmas hallucinogens, and drunkenly screamed in my face when I told him to clean up his dishes and beer cans. Cancer. My mom passed in early July. First year without her. My brother and I visited grandma, like every year, but this time without our mom. But the feeling just isn't the same anymore. My wife. A couple weeks ago she broke the news to me that she had an affair at the beginning of this year and wants a divorce. My body, I guess. I have a condition that is rapidly worsening, and on Christmas Eve my doctor told me it's gotten so bad I may need to be in urgent care at the hospital on Tuesday. It's all I've been thinking about. I can't even sleep. It's Christmas morning and I can hear my nephew, who lives in the apartment downstairs, throwing a temper tantrum because he thinks his sister got larger gifts from Santa this year. His dad, are you joking right now? You better be joking. Say just kidding. Oh my god, tell me he's kidding. It's 8 AM. Well, I got left with building every single toy set for my nephew. And these aren't simple plug-in things. Booklets with 7 bags of screws and wooden dowels that I have to twist and fit perfectly. It's 6 AM and I still have one left, but that will have to. No one ruined Christmas, but my granddad has been in the hospital for almost 2 weeks and unfortunately, he can't be home for Christmas. We've never had a Christmas without him for all 20 years of my life. Due to COVID, we can't visit either. Gave him a call this morning, and it put a lump in my throat. He mentioned he got a gift from the ward, which got him emotional, and nearly got me in tears. He calmed down, and started to tell me about the turkey dinner he's having today which he's excited about. Good news though, he should be home before New Year. My dog suddenly passed away earlier this month due to sudden onset aggressive cancer. It's my first Christmas without him. He loved Christmas more than me. He'd wake me up early because he knew what wrapped presents meant. He would lay by them waiting. He was such a good boy. Not this year, but last year my older sister was being a bitch and talking down to me. Seriously, when was the last time I even talked to you? My reply, I'm not sure, maybe it was at your wedding a few months ago. She got married in May, divorced by July, now sitting next to her new boyfriend that she's introducing to us for the first time. They left. My parents were pissed. I had a great time. Aunt claimed my wife wouldn't let me call her, and threw other outrageous claims and rude words triggered the whole family and caused each of us individually to cry, including my 3-year-old daughter. Then demanded my wife apologize to her, when the worst thing Mrs. did was encourage my aunt to sleep at night so she can stay healthy. Worst Christmas thus far. My mom's denial of her bipolar disorder. She is in full manic mode. I traveled 8 hours from another country to be with my parents on Christmas. I was supposed to stay for almost 2 weeks, but the atmosphere was so toxic I had to get out after 3 days. I told them I'm leaving. I couldn't handle her screaming and aggressivity and overall nastiness. I want to help her so badly, but she flat out screamed to my face that she isn't ill. This is who she is. I have my own mental health issues and I couldn't take it anymore because she was pouring verbal poison into me every minute I was with her. I sat on a bus back home and arrived at 3 AM to my apartment to spend Christmas alone. Bob's mom decided having COVID-like symptoms weren't cause enough for testing. Gave it to Bob, who in turn may have given it to me. Neither my GF nor I, who live together, can go see our families BC. We are waiting on lab results. Woke up at 4:30 AM to the sound of my dog throwing up. After cleaning up and snuggling with him, 6 AM rolls around and he starts having shallow breathing. Been sitting in the vet parking lot since then and waiting for his exam to finish after being diagnosed with pneumonia and a $900 bill. Last week, FedEx delivered some of the gifts I'd ordered, but instead of placing them on my porch, they left them behind my vehicle in the driveway. I subsequently backed over them when I went to get groceries. I wouldn't say it ruined Christmas, but my cousin died by suicide almost a month ago, and my aunt called my mom crying this morning because they have to do Christmas without her. Sort of put a damper on everyone's mood. To be clear, I'm not blaming my aunt, it's just really sad. My mom was crying, my dad was crying, it's just hard. When we have moments of joy, it makes me feel guilty because she's gone. And then I also feel really upset because I wish there was something I could have done. Just a sad time. You decide. My dad was hospitalized for alcoholism recently and now he's home. I'm the only family member left who will take care of him and help organize his care/life, since my brother doesn't have any capacity to care whatsoever and is off having a happy little Christmas of his own. I came to spend Christmas with my dad, even though he's in a bad mood and argumentative about things. He has carers that come in 4 times a day between 7 AM and 10 PM, which does not change over the holidays. I found that 2 expensive items have been stolen from his house last night. There are only carers that come in, so it must have been them. Had 2 hours sleep last night because my dad has searing toothache, and today I've had to call the medical care line to book a dental appointment for Sunday for him, so we'll have to extend my stay with him to take care of that and get him there. Even though I can't drive, there's no Christmas dinner, nothing special at all, and I'm very tired. I have Crohn's, and I got an abscess right near my sphincter that had to be surgically drained under general anesthesia, but unbeknownst to them, it was so deep, and it went high up in my right cheek, supraelevator or some shite. They all looked like somebody threw shit and blood everywhere when I left. It happens B/C, it shoots out from the pressure, and if they aren't prepared, well then they forgot to give me pain meds when I went home, and I was still numb from surgery, so I couldn't feel anything. Q 6 hours later, 10:30 my time, and I head back to the Finally got a pain med in me, 2:30 a fucking, and now I have to wait until the fight reaction goes back down, which means take pills for a BT, and then I will eventually calm down. I hate pills too B/C, they constipate me, but I can't take ibuprofen B/C, it fucks my Crohn's up bad. OWH what F *CKING fun. And this ain't the first Christmas/New Year's in the Fa la la F *CK me. Not a family member. My grandma is into spiritist stuff. Whatever, she's happy and it's not like the money she gives put her well-being in jeopardy. we found out that the people Tahon she's been giving money for years is scamming her for a very large amount of money. My dad and uncle stopped taking her to that place, and they called her from the place and convinced her that her family wants to do her harm. She was very sour and barely spoke to anyone. That added to the fact that Christmas was a very small meeting this year and some of us were there for less than an hour. We are not sure if that can be legally denounced as scamming, and it's very difficult to talk to my grandma about that subject. People were bitter and worried. It was a very tense meeting. Edit. Yeah. Spiritist or spiritualism. A mix between a lot faith in God and angels and spirits and such, and the belief that there are people using witchcraft to harm her. Lung cancer ruined my Christmas by popping up the week before Christmas. I've been an endurance athlete my whole life. No smoking and barely drink. All my COVID tests were negative. So we did a cord scan that led to biopsies. Got the results 3 days ago. I'm only 29 years old, just finished grad school, and landed my dream job 3 weeks ago. My wife. She called the simple ring my daughter received from her boyfriend a trash ring because she wasn't wearing the nearly $700 class ring we had just given her. I have never been so disgusted with my wife. My husband's alcoholic co-worker. Dude has been packing into bars every day this whole pandemic, and he got COVID. He took it with him to work, and my husband got sick, brought it home to me. So now rather than enjoying hosting family Christmas in our new house, we are both still so exhausted that our living room is overtaken with bedroom furniture that we don't have the energy to take upstairs, and we ate frozen pizza on Christmas Eve because the idea of grocery shopping, let alone cooking anything, makes me want to cry. So it was a group effort of my parents. Last summer during quarantine, my mom decided to finally divorce my dad. My dad had been an alcoholic for a while, and 8 or 9 years ago my mom had decided not to divorce because my oldest sister, 14 at the time, would have had to be the sober adult on the days that us 3 kids were with our dad. Now that I, the youngest, am almost out of high school, she felt it was safe for us kids to handle the divorce. It's complicated and I've already rambled enough already, so I'll just say that my mom has had enough trying to make things work, and my dad is in denial, thinking we can still work something out without going to a full divorce. He also blames himself for everything when it really just didn't work out. A week or 2 ago, my dad gave me a very emotionally distressed text that was basically an ultimatum, telling me to choose between my 2 parents. This gave me an opportunity to stop going to his house every week and stay with my mom indefinitely. Now it's Christmas though, and we are spending Christmas morning at his house so that he's not alone, like he was on Thanksgiving. My dad means well, but he goes crying over every little thing, and being around him makes everyone in the family depressed. Let's see how this morning goes. I'm on my way now. My grandmother. She died. I wish this was a joke, but she really did die peacefully the morning of 12/24. We think she waited specifically for that day because she knew we'd be together and our Christmas traditions would help us get through the tough day. Definitely not the worst one, having read some of the other contributions here. My long-term girlfriend, who I was going to spend Christmas with, cheated on me. Then, when I tried to forgive and gave her a chance to make it work, she decided she simply wanted to end things there. Now I'm sitting here staring at the huge pile of gifts I'd got her, wondering what the point is anymore. My wife ruined it. She left the fridge open when we went to bed yesterday, so we needed to throw away all our Christmas food. I don't mind really, we celebrated by ourselves and our newborn, so there was food for 2. Things happen when you are tired, and it's actually an okay excuse to go to McDonald's. My mom's knee surgeon who broke her femur while applying a new prosthesis. Now I have to stay with her and my ailing father 24/7 because she's immobilized and can't care for him. So I don't get to be with my husband for Christmas or most of December for that matter. Oh, and also my mom just a little bit for pitching a fit because she can't do Christmas the way she wants to, despite the fact that she gets to see literally all of her loved ones. With the recent spike in cases, I was showing symptoms of COVID and decided to get tested. The testing took 2 weeks. It took a paycheck from me, and the last paycheck was about half what it usually is. I came back last week, so my next paycheck is today, but the banks are closed. I had no money for both rent and to buy my large family stuff. My cousin who raped me 6 years ago decided to spend Christmas Eve with my side of his family for the first time. No one knows, so I couldn't say anything and had to spend the whole evening with him across the table. A pure delight. My girlfriend. She has a drinking problem and decided, hey, let me get shit faced at my first Christmas with my boyfriend's family. Don't get me wrong, she's a fun drunk up to a certain point, but once she passes that threshold she's a clumsy, emotional, angry bully and goes the extra mile to make a statement. Except the statement makes no sense ever, so not understanding her infuriates her, and then the arguments begin. But it doesn't end there. Instead of letting me try to diffuse her outburst, she attacks me verbally and says some of most fucked up shit. And because I'm no punching bag, I attack back. And we went into a verbal free for all. And now I'm single, broke up on Christmas at a family gathering. Does Tanny COVID count? My mom works in the UK and the rest of us live in South Africa. She was supposed to fly down near the end of this month, but because of COVID it's too risky for her to fly. It'll be a year in January since we've seen her in person. We heard the bad news a few days before Christmas, so the mood was pretty bleak this morning. Probably me by not overlooking decades of abuse and sacrificing my safety and boundaries to be a part of my parents' family. So I'm not contacting them, and I won't respond if they try to contact me. I'm a shitty person for it, but at least no one I'm related to is going to hit me, threaten me, or tell me to go kill myself. My pedo aunt finally going too far and getting slapped in the face by my sister. As my toddler niece was walking around, my aunt said what a cute little ass and did like a spank/grab of her butt. My sister slapped her so fucking hard it nearly knocked her out. It was great. For context, me and my mother worked hard and waited months with the help from Etsy to make a poster or a song my mom wanted to dedicate to my father to show how much she cares. The poster had all the lyrics from My Man by Lynn Anderson, as well as a picture of them on their wedding day. Anyway, we all opened presents last night and are so excited for my dad to see our gift. He smiles and doesn't say anything. Hours later my mother comes into my room pulling her eyes out because my father said I hate it. It looks like a kindergartner wrote it. I felt disrespected as soon as I saw it. I was livid and confronted him by asking, why do you hate it? And he says the same thing. He then tells me to go fuck off and not ask him or anything ever again. Next thing we heard was the poster being ripped from the frame, and I found it ripped to pieces. My mom ripped it up in anger and sadness. She also ripped up their wedding photo on the poster. So once again another Christmas down the drain. My ex divorced me this year, finalized on what would have been my 11th year anniversary. She took the kids and moved 900 miles away. I'm so sad all the time now. Even having my kids with me for Christmas, I feel empty. All I want is my family back. I told my family our convicted pedophile uncle would never know my kids, and if he is there at Christmas, I wouldn't be, neither would my kids. This year will be a very quiet Christmas at my house, because they all think I'm a bigot. Mom got drunk and my stepdad escalated the situation. I unloaded 5 years worth of rage on them, basically forced them into a corner, where they have to work their sh*t out. My boyfriend's family left him alone on Christmas. He begged me to stay with him, but it's a tradition that I always stay at my mom's house. I invited him to stay with me, and instead of being grateful, he came in the house and fought with me about going with him. He ended up locking himself in my room and refusing to leave, even when my parents were trying to make him leave. They bought presents for him and made food and drinks for him. He didn't even take it because he wanted his way so bad. I didn't get to enjoy my Christmas Eve at all, spent the whole day crying. Ex-girlfriend invited me to fly out and stay with her for 2 weeks. Booked the ticket, requested off work, and got a dog sitter. She changed her mind while I was on my first layover. So every year we go to our grandma's house next door and open the majority of our presents, then come back to our house and open the rest. So over at our grandma's we only get like a couple presents, and half of them were clothes. Rock on for me, because I needed some. But my little brother, 11, decided to say and loudly repeat, "Can we go home?" All I got was clothes. I want to go home. This looked so disrespectful to everyone because all he was thinking about presents and he wasn't grateful. I got the same amount of clothes and the 2 other things I got there I thought were cool and made sure to show my appreciation. Sorry for the rambling, it was just annoying when everyone is doing their thing and I'm the only one here's him being ungrateful. My mom. She hid the fact she has multiple COVID symptoms. I was with her all night last night. I only found out because I heard her on the phone with my grandma asking her if she maybe has COVID. I only agreed to come up because I missed Thanksgiving due to COVID being bad in their county. I felt guilt tripped into coming home for Christmas and now once I get back I'll be quarantined and have to take time off work. The person who sent their kid to school with COVID right before Christmas break because they didn't want their kid to miss precious finals. Thanks to them, my whole family gets to spend Christmas with COVID. It's not allergies, people. Keep your sniffling kitty F home. Grandma called my degree useless and a waste of time and NGL that hurt and ruined Christmas for me. I just graduated this year and wasn't even able to go to my own graduation because of COVID. I went to a top 10 college. With 21k comments this isn't going to be seen, but my father-in-law got drunk secretly and immediately before getting on a Christmas train ride with myself, my husband, and my sister-in-law. He refused to wear a mask and then proceeded to loudly call the train rider back Nazi train ride in front of the other guests. Played with the Christmas bells they gave out for the kids like they were a bullsack. There was so much more, but at this point his alcoholism is destroying his marriage and relationships with his children and I'm just so over it. We went to exchange gifts at our in-laws Christmas Eve. Stayed outside for a brief amount of time and wore a mask to be safe. In May our family adopted a rescue puppy, a very hyper breed. It's still a puppy at 5 months old. Father-in-law keeps a 4-year-old lab they never trained or socialized. We didn't plan on bringing our dog around so as to not pick up bad habits and the age difference. Phil thought it'd be cute to let them play. Instantly, the puppy goes into play mode, running in circles and jumping on the lab. Normal behavior mind you, but to the Phil this was viewed as violent. The lab is clearly uncomfortable, so was the owner, so I called for my dog and she came. As my dog was prancing back to me, Phil smacks my 5-month-old puppy to the ground, yelling bad dog. We left 0 tenths. My sister-in-law is currently talking about how the government is trying to murder everyone by forcing them to wear masks, so we inhale carbon monoxide and die. She's anti-vax. Aside from that, my husband had an affair and left to be with his affair partner last month after we were together for 8.5 years. So that was nice. My older brother is a junkie. He and his girlfriend came over to the house for Christmas Eve. They were both high on some sort of stimulant and wouldn't shut up or stop arguing at each other. One thing led to another, words were said and he attacked me. I promptly choked him out. Cause he's a weak junkie, his GF was attacking me when I did it, so I got up afterwards and threw her out to the house with her boots and jacket thrown out behind her. My brother woke up and left as well. Later that night they got a domestic cause, people could hear them screaming at each other through their at walls. So when the cops came my brother tried to break his own arm on the bathroom towel hanger to say the cops did it. Didn't work cause all he got was a hospital ride from my mom at 3 AM to go get it looked at in a merge. Merry Christmas everyone. I would just like to add I usually just let shit like this go. It's not worth my time cause you can't change a junkie until they want to change, but I had to say something the way they were acting. It's Christmas and my mom is a saint putting up with it.